hours. I think this order will apply to approximately 1,500 people, sir.
So this is January 6th. These are the hostages. Approximately 1,500 for a pardon.
Yes.
Full pardon.
Full pardon or commutation?
Full pardon. We have about 6 commutations in there where we're doing further research. So this is a big one. Anything you want to explain about this? We hope they get them. We hope they come out tonight, frankly.
I want to tell you a story. It was a cold, clear morning in Washington, D.C. on January 6, 2021. The streets were alive with the voices of thousands of people who had gathered near the large park south of the White House. They had come at the urging of the then President Donald Trump, who held a rally claiming the 2020 presidential election had been stolen. At the rally, Trump addressed the crowd, urging them to fight like hell, and marched to the U.S. Capitol, where Congress was meeting to certify Joe Biden's victory in the Electoral College.
Hundreds of thousands of American patriots are committed to the honesty of our elections and the integrity of our glorious republic. All of us here today do not want to see our election victory stolen by emboldened radical left Democrats, which is what they're doing, and stolen by the fake news media. That's what they've done and what they're doing. We will never give up. We will never concede. It doesn't happen. You don't concede when there's theft involved. Our country has had enough. We will not take it anymore, and that's what this is all about. We will not let them silence your voices. We're not going to let it happen. Not going to let it happen. And I hope Mike is going to do the right thing. I hope so. I hope so. Because if Mike Pence does the right thing, we win the election. All he has to do, this is from the number one, or certainly one of the top constitutional lawyers in our country. All Vice President Pence has to do is send it back to the states to recertify, and we become president, and you are the happiest people. You're stronger, you're smarter, you've got more going than anybody, and they try and demean everybody having to do with us. And you're the real people. You're the people that built this nation. You're not the people that tore down our nation. You have to get your people to fight. And if they don't fight, we have to primary the hell out of the ones that don't fight. You primary them, we're gonna let you know who they are. I can already tell you, frankly. We see the event going to take place, and I'm going to be watching, because history is going to be made. We're going to see whether or not we have great and courageous leaders, or whether or not we have leaders that should be ashamed of themselves. Throughout history, throughout eternity, they'll be ashamed. And you know what? If they do the wrong thing, we should never, ever forget that they did. Never forget. We will not be intimidated into accepting the hoaxes and the lies that we've been forced to believe. The radical left knows exactly what they're doing. They're ruthless, and it's time that somebody did something about it, because the Constitution says you have to protect our country, and you have to protect our Constitution, and you can't vote on fraud. And fraud breaks up everything, doesn't it? When you catch somebody in a fraud, you're allowed to go by very different rules. Together we will drain the Washington swamp, and we will clean up the corruption in our nation's capital. We have done a big job on it, but you think it's easy? It's a dirty business. It's a dirty business. Together we are determined to defend and preserve government of the people, by the people, and for the people. And we fight. We fight like hell. And if you don't fight like hell, you're not going to have a country anymore. Our exciting adventures and boldest endeavors have not yet begun. My fellow Americans, for our movement, for our children, and for our beloved country. But we're going to try and give our Republicans, the weak ones, because the strong ones don't need any of our help, going to try and give them the kind of pride and boldness that they need to take back our country. So let's walk down Pennsylvania Avenue. I want to thank you all. God bless you, and God bless America.
Fired up by his words, the crowd surged toward the Capitol, waving flags and chanting. By early afternoon, the mood outside the Capitol had turned tense. Barriers set up by the Capitol Police were pushed aside as protesters gathered on the steps. The situation quickly escalated. Groups of rioters broke through windows and doors, storming into the Capitol building. Inside, Congress was in session. Lawmakers had just begun debating about the results of Arizona's electoral vote when the chaos erupted. As rioters breached the building, alarms sounded, and the Capitol Police scrambled to secure the chambers. Members of Congress were rushed to safety, some hiding under their desks, donning gas masks as they were evacuated. The scenes inside the Capitol were surreal. Protesters roamed the halls, some waving Confederate flags, others snapping selfies in offices, and a few smashing furniture or stealing items like laptops and podiums. Outside, the crowd swelled, clashing with police in violent confrontations. Tear gas and pepper spray filled the air as officers tried to regain control. Tragically, lives were lost.
Put all those names down, and we start hunting them down one by one. Lives in your own cities, your own counties, storm your own county buildings, take down every one of these motherfuckers.
As night fell, reinforcements arrived. The National Guard and other law enforcement agencies helped clear the Capitol. By evening, the building was secured, and lawmakers returned to their chambers, determined to finish the certification process.
Let's get back to work.
The attack on the Capitol left the nation shaken, sparking investigations, arrests, and debates about the state of democracy. Some were charged with trespassing, theft, and assault. Serious accusations of seditious conspiracy.
Full pardon.
But in a stunning and polarizing decision, President Donald Trump issued sweeping pardons for all involved in the January 6th riots. The announcement sent shockwaves across the nation. The pardons feel like a betrayal of justice. Families of Capitol Police officers who had defended the building and lawmakers recalled the terror of the day, questioning how such acts could now be absolved. Others, however, saw the pardons as a correction of what they perceived to be an overreach by the justice system. Supporters of the decision hailed it as a move toward reconciliation, insisting that those involved had acted out of misguided patriotism rather than malice. The nation was divided yet again.
I call on President Trump to go on national television now to fulfill his oath and defend the Constitution and demand an end to this siege.
Instead, he went on Twitter.
You have to go home now. We have to have peace.
For those who had believed the justice system had taken a firm stance against insurrection, the pardons brought feelings of anger, confusion, and a renewed sense of vulnerability.
Really, the only recourse that I have at this point was to seek protective orders, ordering that these individuals stay away from me and members of my family, and do not attempt to contact us. We don't feel as though we can depend on law enforcement in this country to protect us, because it's no longer the Department of Justice. It's Donald Trump's Department of Justice. These law enforcement agencies, these police departments, are no longer these independent bodies. They now work for Donald Trump. But a piece of paper does absolutely nothing to protect me and my family, and I don't even know if they're going to grant these protective orders. I mean, at the end of the day, these guys have already shown a propensity for violence. They almost killed me on January 6th, and now they're free.
What do you make of any pardoned violent rioters?
Hey, I just can't agree. I'm about to file 2 bills that will increase the penalties up to and including the death penalty for the murder of a police officer, and increasing the penalties and creating federal crimes for assaulting a police officer. That should give you everything you need to know about my position. Look, it was surprising to me that it was a blanket pardon.
I do not support the pardons if they were given to people who committed violent crimes, including assaulting police officers.
We're not looking backwards, we're looking forward. Biden, the most massive use of pardon power that we've seen in history.
I personally believe that pardons should be done on a case-by-case basis, but I don't think the entire Biden family should be pardoned for things that they evidently did that we didn't know they did. So the pardons have gotten a little out of hand the last few days. I don't think there's any question about that. My only hope in all that is that there's a healing that can take place where we can just put this whole chapter behind us now and start fresh.
Pardon every one of them. They've been there long enough. Most of them hadn't even been charged with anything. They've been moved once a month. There's a lot that will come out probably in the next just a few weeks when they're out. There'll be other arrests that'll go on top of that. People that's been doing things that they shouldn't have been doing to the January 6th.
But there were people who were pardoned who actually assaulted police officers.
They've been in there 2 years.
I think they were absolutely justified. Again, I don't know all the cases. I certainly don't want to pardon any violent actors, but there's real miscarriage of justice here. So I'm totally supportive of it.
For violent offenders, are you comfortable with that?
I haven't seen the details, but I think a lot of those crimes were definitely well deserved.
It's a disgrace how all of these people were treated, and the outcome of the election was the American people saying loud and clear that that was wrong. President Trump did what he said he was going to do. You're going to see him do a lot of things that he said he was going to do on the campaign trail. Yesterday was just the beginning. There's a lot more of that to come.
Any thoughts about those police officers?
What's a disgrace is Liz Cheney abused her power. Liz Cheney should be held accountable for abusing the power that she had as a member of Congress, and Joe Biden gave her a blanket pardon knowing that she was guilty. She should be held accountable for that, and it's a disgrace that she won't.
What does this mean for our democracy? What message does it send to future generations? The scars of January 6 ran deep, and the pardons reopened wounds that many had hoped were beginning to heal. For some, it was a moment of reckoning, a call to re-examine what justice, accountability, and leadership truly mean. For others, it was seen as the final chapter in a long saga of political division. Regardless of perspective, the decision highlighted the fragile balance between justice, forgiveness, and political power, and left the American people grappling with the consequences. January 6, 2021 became a stark reminder of the fragility of democratic institutions and the consequences of misinformation. That's the story of the day the U.S. Capitol shook. Justice for the victims and condolences to the families. I'll see you in the comments, beautiful people.
They've got the gallows set outside this Capitol building. It's time to start fucking using them.